Leeton, a small and peaceful town in New South Wales, Australia, was the kind of place where everyone knew each other.
In this quiet community, one young woman stood out, Stephanie Scott. At just 26 years old, Stephanie was loved by all.
She was a high school English teacher, passionate about her students and always bringing positivity into the classroom. Parents admired her, colleagues respected her, and her students adored her. Outside of school, her life seemed like a fairy tale. She had found love early with her high school sweetheart, Aaron Leeson.
After years of growing together, the two were finally ready to tie the knot.
Their wedding day was set for April 11, 2015. Stephanie was excited, happy, and counting down the days. But what no one knew was that just 6 days before her big day,
tragedy was about to strike in the most brutal way imaginable. April 5, 2015 was supposed to be a day of preparation and joy.
Stephanie had gone to her school to finalize some lesson plans before her honeymoon.
It was the Easter weekend, so the school was quiet. No classes, no teachers around. Stephanie told her family she wouldn't be gone long.
But when she didn't come home, alarm bells began to ring.
This was completely out of character. She was responsible, dependable, and had so much to look forward to. By the evening, her family and fiancé Aaron were worried sick. Soon, the police were called and a desperate search began. At first, no one could believe something terrible had happened.
Leeton wasn't the kind of town where people vanished.
But as hours turned into days, hope started to fade. Then came the shocking discovery. Her car was found abandoned. Inside were Stephanie's belongings, including things she would never willingly leave behind. This was no accident. Something sinister had happened. Police turned their attention to the school, the last place she was seen.
And that's when suspicion began to fall on one man, Vincent Stanford. Vincent Stanford was a 24-year-old school cleaner. To the outside world, he seemed quiet and unremarkable.
But beneath the surface, he was hiding dark and disturbing tendencies. Investigators learned that Vincent had a history of violent fantasies.
He was obsessed with death, had disturbing images on his computer, and even confessed to having violent urges. Despite these red flags, he was still working around children and teachers. For police, he quickly became the prime suspect.
When police questioned Stanford, his answers raised suspicions. Eventually, he cracked and admitted what he had done. On April 7, 2015, he had attacked Stephanie at the school. He kidnapped her, assaulted her, and brutally murdered her. He stabbed her multiple times before taking her body to a remote location. To cover his crime, he set her remains on fire. The sheer cruelty shocked the nation.
People couldn't understand how someone so evil could live unnoticed in their small town. News of Stephanie's murder spread quickly. Her students, colleagues, and the entire community of Leeton were heartbroken.
Vigils were held, candles were lit, and her story was told across Australia. What made this crime even more devastating was the timing.
Stephanie had been just 6 days away from marrying Aaron, the love of her life. Instead of celebrating a wedding, her family was planning her funeral for Aaron, her fiancé. It was an unimaginable loss.
In interviews, he spoke about how much Stephanie meant to him, describing her as not just his partner, but his best friend.
Vincent Stanford was arrested and charged with murder.
In court, he showed no remorse.
His coldness only deepened the pain for Stephanie's family and the public. In 2016, he pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
The judge described his crime as horrifying and inhuman. While the sentence brought some justice, it could never bring Stephanie back. Today, Stephanie's story remains one of the most tragic true crime cases in Australia.
She is remembered not just as a victim, but as a beloved teacher, daughter, sister, and fiancé. Her students continue to speak about the positive impact she had on their lives. Her family has worked to keep her memory alive, making sure people remember Stephanie for the joy she brought, not just the way she was taken. The town of Leeton will never forget her. The case of Stephanie Scott is a heartbreaking reminder of how fragile life can be and how evil can sometimes hide in plain sight. A young woman, with her whole future ahead of her, had it stolen by someone who never should have been near her in the first place. Her story continues to haunt Australia, not only because of the brutality of the crime, but because of what was lost, a life full of love, promise, and light.